not know is the remains of both of these Grand Commanders are directly behind him.
Learn something new today. Fiat Lux, let there be light. Albert Pike, letter to Mazzini. The Illuminati plan for 3 world wars. August 15, 1871. The following is a letter that speculation claimed that Albert Pike wrote to Giuseppe Mazzini in 1871 regarding a conspiracy involving 3 world wars that were planned in an attempt to take over the world. The Pike letter to Giuseppe Mazzini was on display in the British Museum Library in London until 1977. This letter has been claimed by many internet sites to reside in the British Library in London, which denies the letter exists. Giuseppe Mazzini was an Italian revolutionary leader of the mid-1800s, as well as the director of the Illuminati. Albert Pike, historical Masonic figure, was a 33rd degree Freemason, occultist, Grand Master, and creator of the southern jurisdiction of the Masonic Scottish Rite order. Following are apparently extracts from the letter showing how 3 world wars have been planned for many generations. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the Tsars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergences caused by the agentur agents of the Illuminati between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which, in all its horror, will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then, everywhere, the citizens, obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries, will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Pike first joined the Fraternal Independent Order of Oddfellows in 1840. He next joined a Masonic lodge where he became extremely active in the affairs of the organization. In 1859, he was elected Sovereign Grand Commander of the Scottish Rite's southern jurisdiction. He remained Sovereign Grand Commander for the remainder of his life, a total of 32 years, devoting a large amount of his time to developing the rituals of the order. Notably, he published a book called Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry in 1871, of which there were several subsequent editions. This helped the order grow during the 19th century. He also researched and wrote the seminal treatise Indo-Aryan Deities and Worship as contained in the Rig Veda. In America, Pike is still considered an eminent and influential Freemason, primarily in the Scottish Rite Southern jurisdiction.
Did you know?
Pike died in Washington, D.C. at the age of 81 and was buried at Oak Hill Cemetery. Burial was against his wishes. He had left instructions for his body to be cremated. In 1944, his remains were moved to the House of the Temple, headquarters of the southern jurisdiction of the Scottish Rite. A memorial to Pike is located in the Judiciary Square neighborhood of Washington, D.C. He is the only Confederate military officer with an outdoor statue in Washington, D.C. Why is he buried at the temple, though? Continue watching this video to find out.
Books or channel, and the famous Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike, also a channeled book. Their symbolism is just the symbolism of the unity of the sexuality. Like the cornucopia that I showed you just now, the horn of plenty, was double-sexed in symbolism. The horn was masculine, the inside was feminine, the fruit inside symbolized reproductiveness or the female. Degree of Masonry, Sublime Prince of the Royal Secret, direct from their source book, the occult science of the ancient Magi was concealed under the shadows of the ancient mysteries. He says the Gnostics disfigured it a little bit, but it was covered by the pretended crimes of the Templars. But where is it found? So let's read the hub. The occult science of the ancient Magi is to be found enveloped in the enigmas that seem impenetrable in the rites of the highest Masonry. So a Mason could really know this if he's high enough to get this book. So the occult science is in the highest Freemasonry. Now the normal Mason doesn't know this. He's just another soldier recruited with this double doctrine, one for the catechumens and one for the highest. Every Masonic lodge is a temple of religion. They'll tell you it's not. Morals and Dogma says it is. And here's a scary piece. The Bible is an indispensable part of the furniture of a Christian lodge. So it must be Christian, right? Only because it is the sacred book of the Christian religion. The Hebrew Pentateuch is in a Hebrew lodge, and the Quran in a Mohammedan one belong on the altar. And one of these, and the square and the compass properly understood, are the great lights by which a Mason must walk and work. Which one of the three? Bible, Pentateuch, which is the same thing. Or the Quran, which one? An imam. And he told me that in the inner circles, they know who they're worshipping. They know. But again, just like the Templars, the rest of Islam gets one doctrine and the inner circle gets another. In the inner circle, there's no difference. There's no difference. They all work together. So which one is it? The Quran teaches that God is indignant if Jesus Christ is God, and that Jesus never died and there was no atonement. That's what the Quran teaches. The Bible says the opposite. Now which one, Albert Pike, has the truth? Masonic author Pearson admits the Masonic legend stands by itself unsupported. It is the Osiris of Egypt, the Mithra of the Persians, the Dionysius and the Bacchus That's who they celebrate. So this is not Jesus Christ. So when they have their resurrection ceremony, they are not celebrating a resurrection in the sense of a new life in Christ. No. They are experiencing their immortality through their self-works. And then we read that the symbols came to have two meanings. This is very important. Esoteric and exoteric. The esoteric meaning understood only by a few and closely guarded. So what is esotericism? It's very hard to distinguish. The blue degrees, that's the lower levels of masonry, but the outer court, not for the initiate. They are shown the symbols. It is not intended that he shall understand them, but it is intended that he shall imagine he understands them. So he's not even informed, you see. It says here, in Morals and Dogma, their highest source, that these mysteries were concealed by false explanations and misinterpretations to mislead those who deserve only to be misled. So only a few, even in Masonry, know what really goes on behind the scenes.
But there is another one. Each of us was presented, along with the Scottish Rite ring, a copy of Albert Pike's book, Morals and Dogma. So you get that when you get to the 33rd degree. We were told that it was the source book for Freemasonry and its meaning. We were also told that it must never leave our possessions and that arrangements must be made so that upon our deaths it would be returned to the Scottish Rite. Fortunately, I didn't have to go through the process, but I have one. Very useful. Now, what's this got to do with Islam? Now, this is the highest degree of Freemasonry. What happens there? The deadly deception. The Scottish Rite includes 29 degrees beyond the Blue Lodge. Culminating in the 32nd, the York Rite has the equivalent of 29 degrees of the Scottish Rite in advancement along the path that culminates in the degree Knights Templar. So the York Rite culminates at Knights Templar, and the other one is the 32nd degree in the Scottish Rite. Okay? In addition, the shrine. Ancient Arabic order, nobles of the mystic shrine, is available to 32nd degree Masons and Knights Templar who wish to participate. So the highest order is available, those of the highest order can become Shriners. The ancient Arabic order, nobles of the mystic shrine, the show army of Masonry, maintains a very high profile. It is necessary to be a 32nd degree Mason for 6 months before being eligible to join the shrine. Only the highest Freemasons may join the shrine. Now these are most of the prominent Americans. By the way, all the big prominent Americans march through New York as the Shriners in their masquerades. Now, the shrine is in the name of Allah. Did you know that? So here Christians, so-called Christians of the 32nd degree, who now know already that they worship Lucifer, come to the shrine with the Quran on the altar. Now the Bible's gone. When you reach the highest level of Freemasonry and you become a Shriner, the Bible's gone. We sealed our solemn oath in the name of Allah, the God of the Arab, the Muslim, the Mohammedan, the God of our fathers. Wow. Is Allah the God of our fathers?
And I saw a star fall from the heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
Mocking us. They're saying, here it is, every symbol of the occult world is there. We'll tell you this stands for this, and this stands for that, but if you really study it, you'll know what it's all about. It's the worship of Lucifer. And if you can see it, then you are invited higher and higher. Who then is allowed to know the truth about Masonry? We must create a super rite. This is a letter dated 1870 from Pike to the head of the Order of the Illuminati, Giuseppe Mazzini. He says, we must create a super rite which will remain unknown, to which we will call those Masons of high degree, 30th and above, whom we shall select. With regards to our brothers in Masonry, these men must be pledged to the strictest secrecy. Through this supreme rite, we will govern all Freemasonry, which will become the one international center, the most powerful, because its direction will be unknown. All right? The year of that was 1817. It is this which has served as the basis for the organization of secret Masonry, which is not known to, and aims which are not even so much suspected by these. Cattle. They call people who are not in the know cattle. So most of the populations of the world, Marx called them human herds, cattle. To be gotten rid of when necessary. Blow up a couple here or there, who cares? They're just cattle. Attracted by us into the show army of the Masonic lodges, to throw dust in the eyes of their fellows. Masonry blindly serves as a screen for us and our objects, but the plan of action of our force, even in its very abiding place, remains for the whole people an unknown mystery. This comes from the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, capitalization in the original. Very, very interesting. So, secret societies, meantime, however, until we come into our kingdom, we shall act in a contrary way. We shall create and multiply free Masonic lodges in all countries of the world, absorb into them all who may become or who are prominent in public activity. So there are lots of Masons out there, but only a few elect. No, you don't get to be a 30, 31, 32, 33 degree Freemason unless you've been through this. So when the President, Gerald Ford, said, I am a 33-degree Freemason by signing his picture 33-degree Freemason, then you know exactly what he's talking about, where he comes from, and what elect he belongs to. Prominent in public activity. For those lodges we shall find our principal intelligence officers and means of influence. All these lodges will be composed of our learned elders. The lodges will have their representatives who will serve to screen the above-mentioned administration of Masonry, and from whom will issue the watchword and program. The most secret plots will be known to us and will fall under our guiding hands on the very day of their conception. The street plan of Washington is Masonic. You have the upside-down goat of Mendes in the street plan. Then you have the compass and the set square. And everything is in blocks of 13, and the Masonic temples are on the 13th Street, etc. The whole street plan of Washington is Masonically laid. So it's dedicated to Lucifer.
The rituals echo from Mecca to Rome. The black cube stands where the ancients still roam. Settings return, the cycle resets. Humanity kneels, but some will reject. Rings in the sky, time moves back. Saturn revolves, the code stay intact. Rituals rise, the veil peels back, revealing the lies. Rings in the sky. Rings in the sky. Rings in the sky.
Pike, who was Sovereign Grand Commander of Freemasonry back in the Civil War, and he is actually recognized and honored by Freemasons around the world as the par excellence role model for all Masons. I see you have his book here.
Yes, that was given to me at the Temple of the 33rd.
Yeah, here we have Morals and Dogma, the classic textbook of Freemasonry. We have the double-headed eagle symbol on the front cover.
I got some of that on there. So.
Okay, now, Albert Pike said this about Freemasonry in this very book. He says that Freemasonry is based almost totally on the Kabbalah.
Yes.
Jewish magic.
Yes.
And many Jewish rabbis have admitted this, and they say that in all of the rituals of Freemasonry, you will find the Kabbalah, the system of magic of the Jews. All of the Kabbalistic secret society rituals, they are based on a foundation of tantra or sexual ritual.
Yes.
And that's the meaning, by the way, of the G in Freemasonry. You have the square and the compass, and they're mounted on each other.
Right.
It's the male mounting the female, and they become as one.
I've seen the signs, felt the cipher on my skin. The numbers speak, and the shadows begin.
A compass, a square, mark the path. The ancient rites, a hidden wrath. They speak in numbers, a sacred code. Secrets buried, heavy load. The 7 keys to unlock the door. Sacred geometry on the floor. A master's hand on the ritual stone. We walk this line, we're not alone. 360 degree, the highest rank. I take the oath, no turning back. In the lodge, the walls close in. A silent war, a fight within. The ciphers form a twisted line. In the rhythm of time we bind. 12 signs, 12 gates we open. Eyes wide, but still we're broken. The Freemason's hand, a silent spell. Unlocking doors to where they dwell. The occult's mark etched in the sky. Symbols that whisper, you're mine, you're mine. The all-seeing eye, it watches close. In every step, in every pose. And under the moon, the shadows dance. They chant in the void, a twisted trance. The numbers speak in cryptic rhyme. Every hour, every sign. 3, 7, 11, key to the door. 33 steps down, then one more. Circle of light encircled in flame. Each name you whisper, you claim the game. Demons rise in the secret place. A ritual sealed, we face our fate. The angel and demon in the same breath. Carve their symbols, a dance with death. Ciphers in the wind, no sound, no trace. Only whispers the ritual's grace. The flame of the lantern, dim in the dark, guides the lost souls to leave their mark. At the altar they raise their hands, sworn to secrets, a silent band. Sacred numbers, they bind the soul. We give the vow, we pay the toll. In the blackness we find our kin. The occult's promise to walk within. The pentagram burns in the midnight air. We face the truth, we do not care. Demons are watching, eyes are red. We pledge to the void, we pledge to the dead. The path is set in the numbers we find. Echoing past, it shakes the mind. The occult's embrace is ancient, cold, its truth buried.
Albert Pike, I often get Freemasons that come up to me and they say, it's not true. Show them one source after the other. And I get Freemasons that come to me and they say, every word you said is true. I had one meeting, 2 Shriners in it. 2 Shriners. One Shriner came up to me and said, you liar. The other Shriner came up to me afterwards. He says, I'm leaving the Shriners. Every word is true. See? Depends. The gospel does the same thing. Albert Pike says, Lucifer is the light bearer. Doubt it not. Now this is interesting. Albert Pike wrote this instruction to the 23 Supreme Councils. He said, that which we must say to the crowd is we worship a God, but it is a God that one adores without superstition. To you, Sovereign Grand Inspector General, we say this. You may repeat it to the brethren of the 32nd, 31st, and 30th degrees. The Masonic religion should be, by all of us initiates of the higher degrees, be maintained in the purity of the Luciferian doctrine. If Lucifer were not God, and then he goes on to say that Adonai is unfortunately also God, referring, of course, to his enemy of Jesus Christ. But then he says, Lucifer is God, and unfortunately Adonai is also God. So, who may know it? According to the highest source in Freemasonry, the top degrees may know it. Doesn't mean they do. You see, you can pay your way through Freemasonry. There's a way of making money of people that want to go to the top. But even there, not everyone knows. They are selected out into other groupings, and only the inner circle knows. Now, here comes the source. Now you have to be very observant now. The true name of Satan, the Kabbalists say, is Yahweh, reversed. For Satan is not a black god, but a negation of God. For initiates, this is not a person, but a force. Do you have heard of movies that say, the force be with you? Okay. Please note, I'll read this again. To the Kabbalists, they say, Yahweh reversed. Okay? So that's their God. They turn everything upside down. To the outside world, they say, Yahweh. To the inner world, it means what? Satan. So they can preach in the name of Jesus Christ the most eloquent sermons, and you wouldn't know that they're preaching about Lucifer. You wouldn't know. Now, the name of Yahweh reversed. Now, I was in Israel the other day, and I was on the track of something very important, and I took many photographs, and a man came up to me, and he flashed something at me. Very strange. There was another evangelist right next to me, and he flashed something, and he says, look, Allah is your God upside down. And he walked away, and I thought he was nuts. I read the statement, and I went to a Hebrew scholar, and I said, will you check this out for me? And he battled, and he battled, and he battled, and he battled. When the Mason learns that the key to the worry on the block is the proper application of the dynamic dynamo of living power, he has learned the mastery of his craft. The seething energy of Lucifer are in his hands. Manly Palmer Hall, high Masonic form. The devil is now called darkness by the church, whereas in the Bible he's called the Son of God, Lucifer, son of the morning. One quote after the other. And here's the other quote, Blavatsky, Secret Doctrine. Jehovah, esoterically, is also the serpent or dragon. I'm not saying it. The highest source in occultism is saying it.
Composed of 91 different Masonic emblems from the 1st to the 33rd degree. The inner border consists of the Blue Lodge and chapter degrees with a background of the starry decked heavens. The middle border has the higher degrees of both York and Scottish Rite. The outer border represents the checkered pavement of the temple. The emblems are set with 721 stones of different colors and over 250 stars. And as you can see, we have President George Washington here in the center. This portrait is a reproduction of the William Williams portrait owned by Alexandria Washington Lodge number 22. And in case you were wondering more about who made this is made by Joseph Ferdinand Kimmel. He was a member here in Washington, D.C., but originally joined in Mattoon, Illinois, Mattoon number 260, and joined the Scottish Rite in 1920 and made this frame in 1921.
Behind closed doors, the game is played. The secrets they keep, the price we paid. In the shadows they move, in silence they stand. The orders command, the powers in hand.
They walk in shadows behind closed doors. In the cipher of the lodge, we're kept on all fours. Black nobility, Jesuit reign. Freemasons in silence, they play the same game. Jesuit ties, a power unknown. The black nobility, the king's own throne. In the Vatican, the secrets unfold. In the chambers of power, the truth's been sold. The numbers align, the signs we see. Freemasonry's keys hold a prophecy. 3 floors, the steps we climb. Each number's a cipher, it's all by design. The compass and square, the mark of the hand. Invisible ties that control the land. Black robes draped, they walk in the mist with hidden agendas, you get the gist. The sun and the moon, they speak in code. The symbols are written in places that owed. From Rome to the east, the circle spins. The order's the master, it never ends. The black nobility, the ancient blood, pulling the strings from the deepest mud. With power that stretches through lands and seas, they move through history with silent decrees. Their symbols are hidden from the eyes of the blind, but the mason's floor tells you what you'll find. Pi and 5, the numbers align, each degree a step, a boundary defined. The Jesuits stand with a mask of grace. Behind the veil, they set the pace. From the confessional to the darkened halls, they rise in silence, they heed the calls. Their hands in politics, their eyes on the throne. They don't need a crown, their power's been grown. And when you see the eagle, you know the deal. It's the sign of the power, it's what they conceal. The mason's lodge, the floor is set. Each stone placed, no room for regret. The numbers align in a sacred dance. The path they've chosen, not left to chance. 33 steps, 33 signs. Each one's a piece of the grand design. The vaults are the secret, the mystery's kept in the halls where no one slept. Their codes are etched in the ancient stone. From the past to the future, they've always grown. Symbols in gold, the all-seeing eye. A message from the past, they never die. The pentagrams point to the stars, they shine. They've crafted the path, the stars align. The priest, the king, the merchant's grace. They'll serve the order, they know their place. The floors are deep, the game is tight. In the eyes of the order can find the light. It's hidden in plain sight, the truth is veiled. The ones who speak loudest, they've always failed. In the corners they whisper, in the hallways they meet. In the cipher of power they walk the street. With magic and numbers they work the craft. A timeless deception, a spell's been cast.
Knowing the fake, that the game is tight. In the eyes of the order, you can't find the light. It's hidden in plain sight, the truth is veiled. The ones who speak loudest, they've always failed. In the corners they whisper, in the hallways they meet. In the cipher of power they walk the street. With magic and numbers they work the craft. A timeless deception, their spell's been cast. Behind the veil, the truth is clear. In the cipher